Small business is a part of all of us each and every day. It's where we eat, it's where we shop, it's where we go to meet our friends and colleagues. In the wake of COVID-19, our small business community desperately needs our help. We must do our part to help our local communities to once again thrive. We must focus our attention on the small businesses that are the fabric of our great nation. SureUp is a network of small business owners, their employees, and local consumers all working in unison to support each other. By creating incentives for consumers to think local before considering regional and national providers to fulfill their needs, we create local job opportunities and rebuild our communities. In addition, through AI-driven tools and machine learning, in just 5 minutes a day, SureUp assists business owners in improving their social media presence, which enhances their visibility among consumers and levels the playing field so that local businesses can better compete with large, name-brand online competitors. When local businesses leverage the SureUp platform, full-time and part-time employees, whether W-2 or 1099, are rewarded with a variety of voluntary perks and member benefit options. These include discounts on the things people do every day, access to low-cost, subscription-based telehealth and teletherapy, discounted prescription drug plans, connection to exclusive Prosper resources, and so much more. All for less than the cost of a cup of coffee each day. The JumpStart Marketplace is here to support the health and wellness of individual employees, as well as the health of businesses in the local communities in which we live and work. We're all in this together, so join us as we reinvigorate our local community and improve the physical and financial health of working America.
All right, folks, welcome back to JumpStart here on WSCX 970 AM, live on La Mega Mundial, broadcasting on Tempo Network TV, live on Cuyler Network at www.jumpstarteconomy.us, and live on all social media platforms. Let me bring in my colleague, Colin. Colin, thank you so much for switching over. And I'm really, looking forward to getting an update as to what's happening in the UK. Did you guys see our presidential debate last night?
No, I deliberately avoided it. I've seen some of the repercussions in the media this morning. I've seen a lot of stuff. I saw a good joke, and the joke was the winner in the debate was people that didn't watch it. But it seemed the little bits I have seen looked pretty fractious, I think. And I don't know how constructive it all was in real terms, but I think we're in for a bumpy ride, basically, on both sides of the Atlantic. I think we're on your side, and I think we've got our side too. I'm not going to minimise those. We've got real issues over here, not quite as severe as yours because we're not as close to an election. But I don't know. The world seems to be becoming very polarised.
I looked at it and I asked myself. Last night I looked at it.
Particular flag and don't particularly take on board the views of the other side.
Last night I looked at it, Colin, and I was like, "What in the world are we looking at here? What is it we're watching?" They called it a presidential debate, but I didn't know what it was. It was really we were the world was watching. Now you said you deliberately avoided it, but for those who from a different leadership around the world, other countries around the world, it was just an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment how that whole thing played out last night.
Yeah, I got a friend who's a magician, and he works in the UK. He works in Vegas a lot. He does big stage shows, and he sat up and watched it because he's very, very engaged with America. And all through it, he was posting updates on Facebook and Twitter at what he thought, and he was just confused. He couldn't make any sense of it. And what he said, this friend of mine, nobody's discussed
You couldn't.
policies yet. Nobody's discussed the policy. It's been personality. It's been
Nothing.
just
Nothing.
personal.
Nothing. Yeah, it was a
You don't
regurgitation.
know.
A regurgitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know, it was a
same here.
it
We
was.
had the same thing in our last election. Our last
Yeah.
election, which was like December last year, same thing. You know, one side was trying to talk about policies, and the other side was talking about personalities. And the personality side, wasn't it? Because that seems to be the world we're in now. We're in the world of celebrity, and people vote for celebrities rather than politicians.
Yeah.
Terry, we're talking about the debate last night. I was so disappointed with that debate. I was like, I was like, what are we watching here? What is this? It was just embarrassing.
It was very embarrassing. Unfortunately, I ended up turning it off. It just was a show. There was no clear policies being discussed. There was no plan. One candidate tried to get into the plan, and there was a lot of like name call. I was like, what am I watching?
It was bizarre. 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 You know, and you know, that was the first. This was the first debate for them to allow the voters, for Americans to take away something. You know, 30-something days before the election, the idea is to be able to offer clarity to some of these to these voters who are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And they just missed it. They just completely. You talk about one strike, two strike. They struck out. They just completely struck out last night. You know.
Yeah. It was definitely bizarre. It was.
And Chris Wallace, he had no control.
No.
As a moderator, he had no control of that debate. None. He couldn't stop it. I mean, they were talking over him. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Definitely was.
But anyway, I know that your guest is running late. I'm not sure if we're going to.
He told me that he's in the backstage, but I don't see him backstage.
No, he's not here. No. If he's backstage, he's probably in the other show backstage we just finished, and so therefore, you know, he should have. Even though I don't know if you sent him directly the direct link to the second show.
Yeah. Let me go off for a second. Let me see what's going on because he's texting.
Okay.
So let me just check it out.
All right. Let me talk to Colin. So Colin, talk to me about the current status of the United Kingdom and the COVID-19. What's going on? What's happening?
Okay, well, as I mentioned in the first half of the show, we're well into a second peak now, and the second peak is already higher than the first peak was, and accelerating at a greater rate. The death rates in the UK are amongst the 5 worst in the world. I saw a statistic the other day in terms of the percentage of people that die that have got the infection. The 5 worst countries in the world are Gabon in Africa, Mexico, Italy, the United States, and the United Kingdom. Those are the 5 countries that are basically killing the most people. And that's unforgivable. Okay, you can country like Gabon, which probably has got very, very weak infrastructure, you can let them off. Mexico, maybe you can say a lot of very, very poor people. But the United States and the United Kingdom, tell me why those 2 countries should be suffering more than Sweden or Canada or somewhere, you know. So yeah, overall the situation is grim. The government have just embarked on another round of localized lockdowns. Not a national lockdown, but local lockdowns in areas that are showing high infection rates. So there are quite a few of those. I live in Wales, as you know, Anthony, which is a small country about 1 million people. And we yesterday had 3 or 4 more local lockdowns, and that mainly towns, 3 or 4 more towns. Where I live, fortunately, took all this company okay, but there are new lockdowns. Nationally, one thing the government have done is they've announced a law, if you like, that bars have to close at 10 o'clock and have to be empty. I can't stop serving, be empty by 10 o'clock. And there's lots of jokes. You see any comedian on TV now, they're saying, well, it's good to know that the virus doesn't come out until 10 o'clock, isn't it? So we're all safe until then. So there's no logic to this strategy at all. Students and schools, universities and schools have all gone back to term, but some of the universities have had quite big outbreaks, and so they're restricting their students to stay in the hall of residence. So the students are pretty pissed about that, really, because they want to partake in student life. And a friend of mine, she's got a cafe in a little village close where we live. She took her daughter to start a university 2 weeks ago. Her daughter's coming back now because basically she's confined to her patient. She can't go to lectures and they're not being held. It's all being done virtually. And she's saying, Mum, I can do that from home. I'm not sitting in a small room on my own. I'd rather be sitting at home than sitting in this accommodation. So the woman I know, Sam, she said, but I've sold your bed. She sold the kid's bed. So that's one of those things. So students are doing actual distance learning and also social distancing. Another crazy thing, though, some of the schools have had to send kids home because they've got infections inside a particular class. So if there's been an infection in a class or on a school bus, they make the kids quarantine for 2 weeks. But meanwhile, some of the parents have gone back to work. So what the government has said, he said, although they're keeping people to small groups, if a school kid has been sent, so you're taking a possibly infected child and putting it in one of the most vulnerable groups of people around. So what everybody's saying is there's no coherence in the strategy. It's all different bits and pieces of policy that haven't been thought through as a coherent whole, and there's lots and lots of ends. So yeah, it's messy. It's messy. The government has announced plans to subsidise people's wages through this second virus, which is costing a lot. The economy's really hurting. So they're subsidising people's salaries to try and keep people in work. Mask wearing is now compulsory in all enclosed spaces, so if you go to a local shop and wear a mask. I always carry mine in my pocket. I got it here.
Is there cooperation between the various branches of the UK government and the scientists? Because it's a mess here. I mean, you have the inter branches, really contradicting each other. They seem to be no consensus as to one single message as to how we're dealing with this as a country. You have the politicians in one corner, you have the scientists in another corner, and then you have the states in another corner, and then of course private sector, and then the citizens themselves, based on which side they're on, are going to either comply or not comply. And I'm just wondering, do you have cooperation in the UK?
No, we've got the same disconnect that you've got. I mentioned that the government have adopted a policy of local lockdowns in towns and cities and parts of cities and neighbourhoods. The scientists came out and said that wasn't our idea. We don't want to do that. And right at the outset of all this, the scientists were sort of leaning towards the idea of herd immunity. Let the disease run its course, accept that some people are going to die, and look after people. That got changed because, as you know, we've got a National Health Service here, which is lots of hospitals, and the politicians said to the scientists, no, it's crazy because we don't have enough hospital beds to accommodate all these people if they all get sick. Because obviously most people don't die, most people are just sick, not many people die. So we haven't got the hospital beds to treat people while the herd immunity is developing. So what the government did back then, this is back in about March or April time, they put a national lockdown in place, and in parallel with that, they built a lot of temporary hospitals. Think of an army field hospital. They're actually the army doing this. And so they set up these big hospitals in sports stadiums, in conference centres and things. Thousands and thousands and thousands of beds. My son-in-law was working on building some of that stuff out. He was a key worker in that. So they've got all these massive temporary field hospitals, if you like. Well, those are already, they're all empty. They weren't needed. because the lockdown had the effect of smoothing out the infection curve. Not many people got infected, so all these beds weren't needed. However, what the scientists are saying now is, well, we've got the capacity in the health system now. We've got enough hospital beds. Let the disease run its course. Treat the people with the facilities we paid for and put in place, and then let that natural immunity develop. And the example they use for that is Sweden, who adopted that policy. And Sweden has got spectacularly successful treatments. No, spectacularly successful handling of the coronavirus crisis. They had fewer infections and had fewer deaths because they let the thing run its course. And the scientists are saying that's what we should do. But for some reason, the government have forgotten the fact they've got all these spare hospital beds, and they've gone back into the lockdown model. Now, the lockdown model, of course, hurts the economy because people aren't doing business. People at the shops aren't working, restaurants aren't working. So the economy's taking a hell of a hit. And I don't understand what the logic is. A lot of people are making this point. They don't understand what the logic is of hurting the economy when you've got a load of resources sitting there unused that you could use to basically make sure people don't die, people get proper treatment, and the natural immunity to the disease will develop inside the population, which is what the scientists wanted to do. So when the scientists wanted to do that in the first place, it was quite sensibly stopped because the resources weren't there to stop national disaster. But now the resources are there, it's been stopped again. And people say, well, why? Why did we do all that? Why did we set up all these hospitals when we don't intend to ever use them? So the right, Anthony, there is a massive disconnect between what the scientists and politicians are saying. The politicians always claim that we are guided by the science. That's the mantra you always hear. But people are saying, no, you're guided by the science when it suits your political dogma. You're not guided by the science when it suits the science. So yeah, we got the same situation. We're no better or worse than you. And if you were to look at Italy, if you look at Spain, if you look at France, you'd hear the same story. For some reason, people aren't listening to what scientists are saying, and I don't know why.
It's the Western countries, the Western countries.
That's the situation here. Yeah.
The Western countries are struggling with this. We see more Asian countries that are more prepared to deal with this. I don't know if it's because 10 years ago they dealt with the SARS, and so they made up their mind that the next time an epidemic happened, I'm not sure if it was a pandemic then, but we're in a pandemic today. But it just seems the Americas, Europe are all using the same playbook, as to why or how they are politicizing. Could you imagine how you're playing politics with people's lives? You're not saying, okay, how do we best plan for this? How do we effectively go about, saving as many lives as possible?
Yeah.
No, it's a political football. To say, the left, the right, the middle, why are you politicizing this issue?
Yeah, that's right.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
We have a health crisis. We have a pandemic, and it's a deadly virus. It is killing people. It's killing everybody. So what are we talking about here? And I just I don't understand why people are tolerating, accepting the way this thing is.
I don't. If you think about the USA, when you've had 207,000 deaths was the last number I saw, that dwarfs Vietnam, that dwarfs Korea. It completely leaves 9/11 in the dust. And if you look at the reaction or the actions that governments took at Vietnam and Korea and 9/11, massive massive actions to combat those things. And yet this is far, 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 far worse than any of those things have been. But you see a tremendous inertia about the whole thing. You don't see positive actions being taken. And I think it's criminal, really, that, as you say, people are dying in their hundreds of thousands, and nobody seems to do much about it. It's 1 million people around the world have died now in the course of this. It's a Holocaust. This is.
You're kind of sensing that our lives are expendable.
Yeah.
I hate putting it like that, but collateral damage. You kind of have it factored in, baked in that what, we are a capitalist society, and so therefore what is number one is capitalism. It's the economy.
Yeah.
Lives come second. By all means, by all measures, let's save the economy because lives are secondary.
Yeah. Well, you get these. I'm not a subscriber to these conspiracy theories, but there are conspiracy theories kicking around saying that they need people to die because there are people in society that really aren't net contributors to society in the same way that other people are, and there are conspiracy theories saying no, this is being deliberately allowed to happen. It's a cull. It's like when you cull a herd of animals, you cull the weakest. They're saying this is basically a cull of the human race. Now, I don't subscribe to that, but it's worth thinking about because people are saying that. Basically, it's a culling process that's going on by people who want to control us. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've got a few friends that are red hot conspiracy theorists, and they drive me crazy with some of the loony stuff they come up with. It's quite good. But no, it's a real weird thing. And I don't understand why bother with the scientists. I think it's a token gesture. They say, oh yeah, we'll talk to the scientists, but then we won't actually do what they recommend. We'll do our own thing.
Yeah. Terry, the governor of New York. What's the latest? I mean, I saw a couple of headlines. I know New York City is getting ready to have in-person classes. That students are going to return back to test today, right? I saw something else. I saw a report about New York is now putting some additional states on the list of quarantining for 14 days. But I saw something that it escapes you right now. What's the latest?
There's some numbers in Brooklyn that have gone up, and so now they're talking about considering deeper quarantine for those particular areas in Brooklyn, that the numbers have gone up. And there are different, it's unfortunately a lot of the numbers that are going up are in the Hasidic community, and they're saying that you have to wear the mask, you have to social distance. And so those are the numbers that are alarming for us. It's over the 3%, and the governor is not happy about it. The second part of that, like you mentioned, is the school opening. And so, the teachers are really not happy with the plan as it is, because they feel like more custodians need to be on board. There needs to be a lot more done to keep the children safe. And so the teachers union actually voted no confidence in the mayor, and they're actually asking the governor to step in and to make the changes that need to be for the schools to be safer. And so I thought that was interesting because, as you know, New York was one of those states under Bloomberg that actually took over the mayor's office, took over the schools, because that wasn't always the case. And so that was an interesting bit of information that unfolded in the last couple of days around school opening, keeping the children safe, having more custodians on board, having being equipped with the thermometers. And one of the other things that they suggested was sending the thermometers home with children, and so that the parents are able to take the temperatures before the child leaves the house in the morning as an extra added precaution. So it's a lot going on with schools. And as you know, if the schools are closed, though, the parents aren't able to go to work. And so one of the main things that they're happening this week, they're phasing the younger kids, and then next week they'll start phasing in the older kids.
Yeah. I know that the the governor, I think it was Ron Paul. Was it Ron Paul? Am I saying it right? Senator Ron Paul Jr., not senior. It's a Rand Paul and Ron Paul. Rand Paul basically saying that New York had the worst, the way New York handled the the pandemic, the way it became the epicenter. New York had the worst record and how they dealt with it. And it was, I watched the whole thing played out. I watched how the governor handled it, and he was so methodical.
Yeah.
He was so granular. He gave literally blow for blow as to how they were managing that process. And for him to say that, again, it was the politics.
Yeah.
The politics once again, where they're politicizing this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And it just, they just need to stop. They really need to stop, you know? And I hope that at the end of the day, if the only power that the people have are their vote, then I hope they exercise this thing properly, because
Right.
we need to hit the reset button.
Yeah,
We need
absolutely.
the reset button, because this thing is so toxic, it's not even funny.
That's right. Right. And I think
You know.
what the main thing we need to do is to focus, like you said, on what's really important. What's really important is saving lives. What's really important is to continue to do the things that we know that work, to wear the mask, to social distance, to constantly and consistently wash your hands, to use hand sanitizer. If we're disinfecting, the building, making sure that it's properly disinfected and things are properly discarded. There needs to be more than one custodian at a school based on the size of the school. Like, these are the things that work. We know what works, and that's what we have to focus on, and not the politics, not who's doing the work, but how the work is getting done, and if the work is getting done. And I think that you're absolutely right. That needs to be the strategy, and that needs to be the focus.
All right, so I see our colleague Jessica is queued up. She is at the Fred, live at the Fred, for our final and third segment, Tasters at the Fred. And so today, two things are going to happen, guys. They're going to not only get into the whole food presentation, but they're also going to do a virtual tour of the hotel. And the reason why this is important, it's been the Fred Hotel, and you've been here many times, Terry, but for Colin's edification, the Fred Hotel is a newly chic boutique hotel, a new hotel that has been built in 30 years in St. Croix.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There hasn't been. This is the first hotel that has been built, new hotel, for 30 years in St. Croix.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to being able to have to showcase these guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the intro. You guys are more than happy to be part of the live broadcast. But I'm gonna segue over now to bring in our colleague and of course the folks at the Fred. All right.
All right, great.
Let's go straight
Thanks
to the
again.
Fred. All right.
Can you hear us, Anthony? Can you put us off of mute here?
Jessica, I can hear you and I can see you. Yes.
Okay.
How are you?
We're doing a two-camera shoot today, aren't we, Scott?
Yes, we are.
Scott is the food and beverage director here at the Fred in Frederickstead, St. Croix. And if you didn't tune in last week, we were here doing about a couple weeks series here at the Fred Hotel. So
Thrilled to have you here.
each week we're going to teach you guys a little bit about the cuisine here, the food and beverage, and then kind of take you on a little tour around the resort.
We'd love to have you and show you around. So.
Yes. So last week, we got to see the outside, and it was funny because we decided to do the lobby today because, thank God we did, because
it's a little cloudy today, and we might be getting some rain, but the cisterns will be happy, and the landscaping will be happy.
exactly.
But, I don't know if your hair would be happy.
Right. No, but I tell you what, it feels so much better here than outside because it's hot down here in the Caribbean. But thanks for tuning in, everyone for Tasters. So we are today going to talk about 3 dishes that the Fred has prepared for us in the kitchen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Fred. Welcome to the cocktail. This is our...
Okay, 2 ankle shoe. We're getting fancy here, Anthony.
All right, so welcome to the Fred. We are in the Cock Lounge, which is our reception lounge here at the Fred. It has been photographed and featured in lots of Caribbean travel brochures and online, designed by the owners Christopher Swanson and Jeff Prince. It's probably one of the most photographed lobbies, I think, on St. Croix. So welcome. It's called the Cock Lounge because we have all of these one-of-a-kind oil paintings paying homage to the local chickens here on the island. So, but today, Chef Fahim is unfortunately off island for a couple of days. He had some business to attend to in the States. So I'm going to be presenting some of his food. What we are doing is we're presenting each week something from our lunch menu and something from our dinner menu. So we do serve lunch every day from 11 to 4, 7 days a week. And then we take a little break, change the kitchen over, and we serve dinner from 5 to 8. And we have a couple of items that we're featuring. The first one, I'd love you to try. Let's go. This is Chef Fahim's famous fried chicken.
Yep, let's go this way. Okay, that's fine. So fried chicken. So this is something that we talked about last week, though. That this is a recipe that he brought from his family.
It is his grandmother's recipe.
Right.
So this is a classic fried chicken. He does a brine, but he will not tell me what's in the brine. And he also has a special breading. Oops. Okay. Live TV. Yeah. Anyway, he has a very special recipe that is handed down from his grandmother, and I will tell you, it is scrumptious. So we have 2 portions. You can just do a half of the chicken, a whole chicken, chicken and a half, or 2 full chickens, which is perfect for a family. And it comes with a made-to order Gouda mac and cheese. And then you have the option of locally sourced spinach that we get from Sage Farms. I just picked up 30 pounds of fresh spinach yesterday, and we do sauteed spinach. And we can also offer you our famous fried Brussels sprouts. So that is our fried chicken platter.
And that's a nice southern.
It's a very
southern little lunch entree.
It's good comfort food.
Right.
You know, from our dinner menu, we are very pleased to present a smoked duck breast.
Oh my God, yum, yum, yum.
So we smoke this in house.
Hopefully this won't fall off the plate.
Right. We do an Applewood smoke.
It's all that grease from the chicken.
We smoke it. We have a smoker outside, so Chef gets some real applewood, and then he puts some local citrus, a few special ingredients, and he smokes the duck breast, and then we crisp the skin, and then when you order it, we'll take the temperature on the duck breast. Served over a shredded sweet potato pancake, some locally sauteed spinach, and a cassis reduction, which is a creme de cassis. It's a sweet, almost like a cherry flavor. Demi glaze over the top. So I want you to try that.
This is like your number one seller.
This is our more, our whole mantra is barefoot chic.
Right.
So during lunch, it's much more casual. You can be in your bathing suit. You can be sitting barefoot, having something a little bit more lighter. In dinner, we are a resort, so we want to offer at least some more, resort style entrees.
Right.
So this would be one of our premier duck entrees here.
Absolutely.
And then for dessert.
Oh, yum. I'm eating large today.
Yeah, right.
I'm eating large.
You're going to need a nap after this tonight. This is Chef's homemade chocolate bread pudding with fresh vanilla ice cream and a homemade caramel sauce. So that's one of our featured, very popular desserts. So, well, why don't you give
And then if you're not full enough, Scott, what do we have to drink?
Oh, well, this is also one of our signature cocktails. Right. This is called Fred's Confusion. So obviously, everybody on the island knows what a Crucian Confusion is, made with local Crucian rum.
What is that? So Crucian Confusion isn't like all the rums together?
It's multiple rums. And everybody's got their own recipe, but it's usually like 7 or 8 different rums, all the different flavors, passion fruit, key lime, banana, coconut, mango. Right. We simplified it a little bit, just took it down to the basic flavors. So this is just coconut, mango with fresh pineapple juice, a little float of the blackstrap rum on the top. It's super light. It's not overly sweet, but it also gives you that Caribbean rum punch feel.
Right.
And that's our signature drink called the Fred's Confusion.
And it's pretty.
Thank you.
And you can probably drink 2 of them.
You can probably drink 3 or 4 of those. So
Really?
we sell a lot of those. So
on today's show, we had the opportunity to tour some rooms this morning, right?
we did.
Yes.
Well, you were checking in.
I was checking in. I checked in today. So we're going to take you on a little tour here in a little bit after we do a tour of the lobby.
Right. So
What
we're saying is we're in the Cock Lounge.
Right.
So when you do check in, this will be the first place you come.
So we're going to take you. Should we take you to the door?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to take you to the door, guys.
So we're in the door. So we are in the Totten House. It is the most historic property on the building on the property. Sorry, excuse me. We try to keep as much of the original woodwork as possible, and we've converted the main room into the Cock Lounge. And then this is also the front desk. So everything is branded here at the Fred. The hotel is Sleep with Fred. The restaurant is Eat with Fred. The bar is Drink with Fred. So we're at Sleep with Fred right now. So this is our check-in desk. That's Tim behind the counter there. Hi, Tim.
He's taking a reservation, so we won't bother him too much.
And if you come this way,
We have our gift shop.
so we do have a gift shop here at the Fred. We have some branded items, especially our T-shirts. If you sleep with us, you can buy a T-shirt that says that I slept with Fred and I liked it. And, and we also have the classic Keep Calm and Sleep with Fred.
Right.
So,
Yes.
but we also have some local artists bring us some things to sell. We also have some branded items. We are a pet-friendly hotel.
Very pet friendly.
So we have some St. Croix branded dog accessories. We have some doggy treats. We have some sunglasses. We have some local recycled glass. Local gentleman by the name of Frank Hirons takes the old Crucian bottles and reimagines them. That's the name of his company, is Bottles Reimagined. And we try to have as much local as we possibly can. So when people come and visit St. Croix, they can take a little piece home with them. Obviously, something with the Fred on them. And every person that is named Fred has to buy one of those.
Oh, yes, they do.
Right.
But I mean, look at the woodwork. It's amazing. And the staircase. I wanted to show how the staircase. This is, amazing.
So what we try to do is we try to save as much of the, it's not all of it is original. The building is burned several times over its course of its history, but a lot of the wood is quite old. We try to restore and save as much of that as possible. And then add the decor is obviously a little splash of modern. And again, designers are not afraid of using color.
No,
not at all. So.
For me, white and gray. Anthony, are you with us right now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm enjoying the. I like the Sleep with Fred illuminated banner that you have there. It's inviting. Like, if you're looking for a good night's rest, you're gonna go sleep with Fred. So it's really nice. And then I noticed you had a nice little souvenir store there with lots of goodies. Yep, I'm enjoying it. Yes.
I want to show you something real quick. So give me 1 second, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
The beds that they can order.
So we have a product line. It's called Comfy. That is our sheets and our bedding. And just like every nicer resort or hotel, if you enjoy the bedding and the sheets, you can actually purchase the entire set. We'll sell you everything from a mattress to the comforter and the pillows and the sheets. So we have a little sample.
It's like for Barbie dolls.
Wait, what is that? A miniature bed?
It's for Barbies. Just kidding. So if you really like your beds here at the Fred, you can buy the bed, and guess what? He has them in stock, and he delivers for free.
Well,
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But that was something if you do stay here at the Fred and you enjoy the bed and the linen experience, we can arrange for those to be delivered to your house. Not the ones you slept on, but a brand new set.
And brand new sheets.
And brand new sheets. And if you want to buy the entire set, we'll see if we can send you a mattress. So.
But we're all about the food and the beverage. That's what our culinary background is. And the Fred has, like Scott said, they have lunch and dinner. And now that things are opening up.
And things are opening back up again. So we're hoping when the governor allows us to go back to bar service as soon as the governor says so. But we are in development for our weekend brunch. And then we're also working on getting breakfast for our hotel guests and possibly walk-in customers. So again, all in development. We did start this from scratch, so we have to take this, one step at a time.
Right.
We've had a couple of little, hurdles like, global pandemics. But we're getting there. We do hope you come by for lunch and or dinner. We still are doing takeout. You can go to our website, which is eatwithfred.com, to see all of our menus. You can also go to Drink with Fred, which is our event website, and you can see all the upcoming events. We're doing a dive-in movie every Thursday in October.
Right, for Halloween.
For Halloween, we're showing Colin Carberry, and we're also doing a fixed sit-down menu dinner for Halloween proper.
Oh.
Again, adults only. Unfortunately, we are adults only
We like
hotel.
that.
But
I like getting away from my kids.
But go to drinkwithfred.com and it'll show you all the details and give you the menus of what's coming up.
Now, who's that character behind you? That's a huge portrait. Is that the mascot of Fred?
That is pretty much the mascot. Yeah. Is this an adult show?
Oh, yes, it is.
That's Topher's Big Red Rooster.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is that one of the local roosters roaming the streets of Frederiksted? Is he like the star of Frederiksted?
So absolutely.
The owners, designers are big art lovers and art supporters, and they found an artist who actually, if you want to pan over here real quick and show this art. This is also some of her work. They found 2 small pieces that they absolutely fell in love with. They commissioned 2 more. And if you want to pan all the way around and show the rest of the art. So what they did was they really enjoyed her art. It sort of tied into the wild chickens walking around Frederiksted. And so after the first 4 pieces were commissioned, then they decided to have this
showcase piece.
The main piece, the focal piece.
Yes.
Did you guys know I did a shoot in Little Havana in Cuba in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got an opportunity to connect with some of the local folks in Little Havana in Miami, and there was this huge statue of a rooster, and I'm like, I saw these roosters all over the place. I'm like, what's with the roosters? Did you guys know roosters is a symbol of royalty, according to the Cubans?
No, I know they're a symbol of waking you up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
But they're supposed to represent wealth and wealth and royalty. I did not know that, and so when I see the Fred having such a prominent role for roosters in your art, I thought maybe somehow you guys knew the history behind that as well.
Our symbol for the hotel is a crown because we are named after not only the town of Frederiksted but King Frederick of Denmark. So that's where the name came from. Mm-hmm. So now that we know the royalty tie-in and that our logo is a crown.
But on the side, though, right? So
right. It has to be on tilt. Yes, it has to be on tilt. It was designed that way. Yeah. So, but
we're a little off.
That makes a great connection there, Anthony. So.
Okay. So you guys talked. You did a tour earlier. You said, "Are we gonna? So talk to us about this."
Yeah, so I checked in today thanks to Scott and the owners and the management of the Fred Hotel. I checked in today, this afternoon, and Scott went ahead and showed me my room, but then went ahead and showed all the other different rooms that they offer here at the Fred. So if you guys don't mind, we're going to show you like a little clip of our little morning stroll. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Jessica, how are you?
Good, thanks for
Welcome-
having us.
Welcome to the Fred. I heard you were checking in
I
today.
am. Middle of the week vacation.
Well,
Why not?
So glad to have you here.
Right.
Hey, listen, before you get checked in, I'd like to show you a couple of the rooms that we have
Okay.
just for your guests and your audience and stuff like that. So, hey, welcome to the Fred. And
you.
let me show you the room you're checking into, and then I'll show you a couple of the other ones, okay?
Perfect. Thank
Come
you
on
so
this
much.
way.
All right.
So this is the James Suite
James Suite.
after you.
So I'll just leave my bag here.
Okay. Now let me show you around real quick. So this is our largest waterfront suite. It's one of our premier suites. It's considered a tier 1.
Tier.
It's called the James, and it is right on the ocean.
Look at that view.
The views are pretty spectacular.
Oh, I love it.
So this is our only 2-room suite. It's got its own separate living room, a separate bedroom, huge bathroom, these great picture windows that are right here on the ocean. All the rooms have got the same amenities: air conditioning, flat screen TVs, mini bars, all that kind of good stuff. This particular room has its own fold-out Tempur-Pedic couch,
Nice.
which is quite nice. Can I show you the bedroom?
Yeah.
After you.
Thank you.
So most of our rooms have king-size beds. And we kept a little piece of the historic part. This is the original seawall from the original property. That's out all dated 1755, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And then you get to wake up every morning and look at this view.
Oh my God. And steps away.
Just
did
steps
you,
away.
Did you count the steps to the ocean
I
yet?
think it's like 15.
Right. It's like nothing. Nothing.
It's nothing.
Fantastic.
All right. Would you like to see one of the other rooms
I
upstairs?
would like to see
Let's go.
as many as we can on this journey today.
Let's go.
Thanks for having us again.
My pleasure. Thank you for being here.
So that was one of the rooms.
Yep. That's the James. That's one of our premier waterfront suites.
Doesn't get better than that, guys. Seriously. I mean, your own private deck. They have a little living room with
Now,
has a fold-out couch,
Mhm.
Tempur-Pedic, and then beautiful.
that was called. I want to make sure that was the J suite.
James.
J-A-M-E-S. Yep.
James suite. Okay.
All of our rooms have names, and they're all named after the most historically prominent person that lived or stayed in the building before it became a hotel. And we can go over that another time. So.
Fantastic.
So there might be an Anthony out there. There might be a Jessica. We don't know.
A Jessica suite. Not bad. I think you're lobbying really hard there, Jessica. All right, so let's go to the next room.
Oh,
So,
upstairs here.
We are upstairs from the suite we were just in. This building is actually called the Love Shack. And this lovely room is called the Rachel. This is sort of our honeymoon suite. And all of the woodwork is original when we bought the property. It also has this great little Juliet balcony.
Oh my gosh, love it.
This is a special room. I mean, look at the views. If you want to step out real quickly.
I mean, sunsets, breakfast, lunch, you
Coffee
name
in
it.
the morning,
Yeah.
champagne.
I love it. Oh, beautiful. And I love the original woodwork.
The original woodwork, the high ceilings. We try to keep as much as possible from the original. The nice thing about this suite is that you got a separate room with a sink and the closet, and a separate room with the bathroom and the showers over there. So it gives you a little privacy, even if you are on your honeymoon or a special event or something like
Right.
that. So,
Absolutely.
and again, all the rooms have the same amenities: air conditioning, commercial grade Tempur-Pedic mattresses, high thread count, comfy sheets, all that kind of good stuff.
course.
Mini bars, microwaves, all that kind of good stuff. So
I love it.
it's the whole mantra that we're bringing back all of the amenities that small boutique resorts should have. So
With the history.
with the history
Yeah.
and the view, it's
Yes.
not too bad.
Oh, well,
So,
come on.
well, let me show you
Breakfast.
a couple more real quick.
Okay, perfect. I think it's really cute, the name of the Love Shack.
Yeah, the owners put a lot of thought into branding the property, and again, there's a lot of history to each of these buildings, and because that was sort of the honeymoon suite, and it was just it's a cute small building, and only has 2 rooms in it, and I think it was just appropriate to call it, the Love Shack, and it sticks in your head, basically.
I wanted to bust out in that song, Love Shack. I really wanted to sing this song,
They walked on the welcome mat, and they're playing
Play
this
Love
song.
Shack. I'll send that off to Topher, and let's see if we can make that
But
happen.
it's cute, So, so that was a beautiful room, and I love that the outside woody roof for that.
The Juliet balcony,
Yep.
it's right overlooking the ocean. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And it's one of our more requested rooms.
Yeah.
Too, so.
All right, let's go to the next room.
I love the Danish brick.
Well, this is all original Danish brick, all from the 1700s. We're very happy to have here on the property. And this is actually called the Douglas House, owned by the Douglas family. It was their vacation home for years. And this is the Murray Suite. Turn the lights on for us here.
Now this is a suite.
Awfully dark, so let me turn. We may have to do this again. Hang on a second.
Yeah, no, we got it. This is amazing. And this accommodates more, I mean, you know, for
This is one of our largest rooms.
Yeah.
This was the
Yeah.
living room for the house when it was a vacation home. So we've converted it into what we call the Murray Suite. It's got two king-size beds. It's also our only unit that has a small kitchen. And the unique thing about this building is we have 2 rooms up front and the small Aunt B suite next door. And there's an interconnecting hallway that we can unlock, and you can basically rent the entire top floor of the building and turn it into a villa.
Oh.
So if you're coming with your family, you can come here and have breakfast.
Great, or
you know.
bachelorette party, or
And
whatever.
you know, mom and dad can have their own room and their own
Right.
bathroom and things like that.
This is amazing. I love it.
And it has all the amenities. There's, plates
This
and
is
silverware.
great.
All this woodwork is original, so we try to save as much as possible.
In the bathroom.
And we have a beautiful bathroom.
What's
real
going
fast.
on
I'll
with
show
that
you
bathroom? That's awesome.
So all of our bathrooms are sort of the European style ensuite. We have all the amenities.
Yeah, this is great.
Fun showers,
Yeah,
all that kind of good
Yeah.
stuff. So
I love it.
beautiful balcony, like I said.
And I love your artwork, by the way.
Thanks. That was chosen by Christopher Swanson, who designed most of the interiors of the rooms. And a quick side note: the lady who owned this property worked for the Brunswick and Fee fabric house out of Paris. So all of the fabrics that you see here, the pillows, the duvet covers, and the carpets are all Brunswick and Fee prints, and as an homage to her.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The owners put a little thought into everything.
Obviously, yes. And I can't wait to try one of those robes on here shortly.
Right? And then all the rooms have either a private balcony or a shared balcony.
Right. Beautiful.
All right.
Love it. Okay.
Show you a couple quick ones?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Let's go.
Come on.
That was a pretty room. I got to tell you, for some reason I really like that room. It's open, it's eerie, it's lights, it's a nice room. I just like the vibe of the room, and I'm just wondering what went into the designing of the room in terms of, obviously you name the room and how you lay out the room. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Well, again, Christopher Swanson and Jeff Prince are designer build property developers out of the DC area. So they've done this before. This is the first time they've done a resort necessarily. They took the space that was available. They actually lived in that space for quite some time when they first moved to St. Croix. So they could sit there and envision what this could be, as opposed to breaking that large space up into 2 small standard hotel rooms. Let's do something big. If you're coming down with, say, 2 couples and you like each other enough to share a hotel room, that we have something that is not just 2 queen-size beds in a tight space. You've got a little bit more open air. You've also, like you said, we could open up the villa and you can use the space for gatherings, for, I said, bridal showers, family events, things like that.
And I spent a weekend there with my girls.
Right.
It was my girlfriend's birthday, so.
It lends itself beautifully
Yeah,
to that kind of
yeah.
thing. So, and you want a little space where you're not on top of each other.
Hey, Jessica, your dress matched that room just now. The
It
dress
did.
that you wear, it matched the
I'm
room.
good like that. Yep.
All right, let's
Wait,
move on.
so that's-
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next room.
I think we
I like
really got,
this room because of,
well, the view again.
and the swimming pool.
Well, Jess, this is part of what we consider the new building.
Okay.
So the 3 main buildings are all historic, and the owner designers have created these 2 new buildings, and this is what we consider one of the pool suites, and this is called the Jeffrey.
The Jeffrey,
So,
okay. Yeah,
come
I
on
like
in.
this room. Oh, it feels so good.
So
This is
again,
amazing.
this is one of our larger rooms. Again, steps from the pool, just a few feet from the restaurant to the bar. And
I mean, look at that.
the view's not bad. The owners custom designed the headboards. Obviously full mini bar. This one's got a lot more space just to stretch out and relax.
Yeah.
This one actually has a couch in it, and then one of the best features is the bathroom.
Oh boy, another bathroom.
Well, this is
I'm
not
gonna have to
just. This is
redo my
not.
bathrooms, Scott.
This is not just a bathroom.
Oh wow.
So there's a little space in here for
A
two.
dance party.
A dance party or whatever. And then obviously, if you so choose, this is the view in the morning.
Look at this. Anthony, come and look at this. This is amazing. Oh, love it. You could even call the bartender.
Right.
Can I have a Bloody Mary?
Can you send over a bottle of champagne?
Great, something.
And one of the side notes is because we are the first new build on the island in 30 years, that all of the ground floor rooms have to be ADA compliant. So we're all handy accessible. So these bathrooms, the doorways, all that stuff,
yeah.
are all handy accessible.
Obviously.
So by code, we had to do it. We wanted to do it to make ourselves more accessible to a
Clientele.
Of course, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. And we have one more room to see.
I want to show you some of the new build, and that's down at 4105, which is yet to be named. It's right down the hallway. How about I show you that real
Maybe
quick?
we'll name it the Jessica.
Okay.
She keeps pushing on this, Jessica.
It's really starting to bother Scott.
Absolutely. So this is the last room. So we need to wrap up the show. So let's close out with the last room. And then any final thoughts before I play the last room? Show the last room.
No, I mean we'll see next week.
Okay, good. Oh, fantastic.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Jessica, this is the last room I want to show you. After that, I'll let you get settled into your room and start enjoying the Fred. But I have a little surprise for you.
You do?
Go ahead.
Okay.
It won't be a surprise unless you discover it yourself.
All right, I'll be right back.
So this is part of our new build. This building did not exist, but it's part of our 22 rooms. The owner designers created this building to look just like the 3 historic buildings. It's 8 more suites. Like I said earlier, all the ground floor rooms are all ADA compliant, but they all have the same amenities. They all are king-size beds, beautiful European-style ensuite bathrooms, air conditioning, flat-screen TVs, and things like that, and some beautiful views of the ocean overlooking the pool and the grounds. So, Jess, did you find the surprise yet?
I did. Thank you.
Ah,
cheers to you, too.
Cheers. Well, come on in.
Thank you.
So this is one of our new rooms. We've got hand-painted murals, so all the rooms will be slightly different, have their own unique personality. Again, all the same amenities that all of our rooms have. So spacious, modern. The bathrooms are like European-style ensuite.
Love it.
And also, this room happens to be steps away from the spa. So
And I'm assuming that's where I'm going.
that's the other surprise.
So cheers. Thank you.
So next time we will.
Next week we'll visit the spa.
Right, well,
Does
listen,
that sound great?
Fantastic. So
Thanks for having me. Okay.